Okay, good afternoon, everyone. You are all at the free webinar, Making Informed Decisions About Your Website Needs. And this free webinar is being brought to you by Situated Research, and you can visit our website at www.situatedresearch.com. The layout of today's webinar is we're going to do a brief introduction of who we are and why we're doing today's session for free. Then we're going to get right into the presentation on web design. Embedded in there will be some tips and guidelines for everyone to follow, and then we'll end with a Q&A session. After today's session, any questions that are not answered during the webinar, you can email me privately, or we're going to go through the questions after the session and we'll respond to you through email. Again, write any questions during the webinar in your right-hand corner under the questions box, or send me questions afterwards. You might think of something, at the end of the week or something like that. So just send me an email, quick email at info@situatedresearch.com. Today's session will be recorded and made available to everyone on our website tomorrow. And you all will be muted for today's session just because we have a lot of people attending today, and it'd be a little chaotic if we didn't do that. So sit back and enjoy today's session. And again, any questions, just type them in your upper right-hand corner. A little bit about me before we get started. Again, my name is Michelle Ann Sherritt, and I am the VP here at Situated Research. My degree is in behavioral psychology, and I have over 17 years of business experience. And that's encompassed into several different industries. So it really helps me with my current position of being VP and co-founder here at Situated Research because we deal with a lot of different industries. So what is Situated Research? Well, here at Situated Research, we started our company at the end of 2008, and we have three different divisions. We have our website and social media division, we have our software division, and our video game division. And everything is focused around usability and user-centered design. So here at Situated Research, we actually do research and testing on every product that we have a hand in. So if it's web design, we can help a company redesign their current website, build them a new one, or work with their IT team to make their website better, more user-friendly. So to learn more about us, just visit us on the web, again at www.situatedresearch.com. So a lot of people, when I do this webinar, I do it 2 to 3 times a year. And people ask, why do you do this webinar for free? Why do you give out all of this good, useful information? Well, for one, when you're an expert within your field, you should be giving that information to the public so that they can make informed decisions. And a company website has to do everything with your company's branding, your image, selling your product or your services. It's a representation of you. And so I want to give that information out to business owners so that you can make good, informed decisions. We have a lot of knowledge here at Situated Research. Even though we started the company in 2008, we've actually been in the web design industry for about 16 years now. So we have a lot of knowledge, and we need to give that knowledge out to the public so that the business owners can make good decisions. We've also have heard some people who have attended some workshops, especially in downtown Chicago, where they attend a workshop all day, and by the end of the day, they're promised a fully functional website. And they do get a fully functional website, but there's a lot of errors with it. There's a lot of problems with it, and it looks slapped together because it was. So they attend our webinar, they get a lot of good, useful information, and then they either hire us to do the work or they hire another company that they feel comfortable with. And we've talked with tons of clients and potential clients, and they've said, you guys should be doing this free webinar. So every year we do this webinar about 2 to 3 times a year. So just some fun facts before we get started. I always have people who attend who don't have a company website, believe it or not. And they don't think that their type of business needs to have a website. So I like to put up, some factual information. And this time, the factual information is the age groups of people who are on the internet. And so we have about 80% of internet users. And out of those 80%, we have different age groups that are using the internet. So we have our age group from 18 to 34. That's 93% of the people in that age group are using the internet. We have people who are 75 plus, and that's 31%. So even that's a significant amount of people on the internet. It was pretty funny. I went over to my grandmother's nursing home the other day where she lives, and they have a computer lab with 3 computers set up, and I always see someone on the computers. And I just find that fascinating because, think that it's great because the older generation is using the internet and they're using it to, I know my grandmother uses it to order shoes, to order nursing supplies, all kinds of things. So they do use it, and they definitely know about the major websites out there, especially Amazon they know about, because they can get a lot of good discounts on there. So wide range of percentages of people within different age groups on the internet, but as you can see, pretty much everyone is on the internet. So why wait? For those of you attending today, many people are using the internet. And so for those people attending today who don't have a website, you have to know that people are on the internet getting dinner reservations, finding car mechanics, finding daycare centers, and even buying their groceries now. So the way that we're doing business is changing radically. And the computer generation has entered the workforce. They've been in the workforce for a very long time now, and they are bringing to their companies and saying, hey, we need to get on the internet. We need to be having our customers able to buy our products or get our services or find out more about us on the internet. So why not expand your client list by getting your own company website today? Well, people who attend who are waiting have many reasons why they're not doing it. One, they think it's going to be too expensive. Two, they think that it's a huge effort that's going to be on their part. Three, they're worried people won't be able to find them. And four, they have the misconception that they can make a website on their own and it'll work for them. So I want to talk just a moment about making a website on your own. And before I even go into these reasons of why not to do it, I like to give an example of one of our clients. It's a local florist in our area, and he was trying to expand his business and expand the current website that he had. It wasn't working, people weren't using it, and he didn't understand why. And so he wanted to remake the website. And the first time around, he spent a good amount of money for his website, but he wanted a new look and feel. So he took about 6 months, and he went online and he found some free software and he started using it. And so for 6 months after his long day of work, he'd come home, have dinner with his family, and then he was on the computer. And he was building this website, and he was running into problems right and left. And he'd have to look up stuff, take a couple days, figure it out. He'd figure it out. He'd fix it. And at the end, he had a website. So he was really excited about the website. And he, put it up live. It was going great. He was really excited. And then he had customers coming in saying, oh, I tried to go on your new website, but it didn't work right. I tried to check out. I tried to choose a design, a floral design that I wanted, and it didn't work. And he said, what do you mean it didn't work? So he's having all these problems. Some people were Googling his area for florists and couldn't find him. Other people would find his website and they would take one look at it and they would go away. So it was a huge time investment for him. It was definitely a huge learning curve. And the usability expertise was missing. Graphic design was missing. It was a free software, so we had to choose a template, which other people who have used this free software have also chosen those templates. So other floral design companies out there that use this product had the same looking website as his. And the programming was elementary, which we're going to talk about in a moment what that means. It was a huge expensive lesson because he not only took all of that time and took time away from his family and his busy day for 6 months to put this website together, but he was losing business because of the website that he created. And then he came to us and he was like, what do I do now? And then he had to pay us to redo his website. So, of course, we felt for him. He was a local company, so we gave him some discounts here and there to help him out. And now he has a great website. People can find him. People want to stay on the website. It's great. But it was a huge lesson that he learned. And there's thousands of stories that we've heard like that from, from customers and potential customers. So just real quickly, what's the elementary programming? What do I mean by that? When someone uses a free software or they don't know what they're doing, the programming is poor, meaning that there's errors within the programming of the website all over the place. And this can be a huge problem because search engines like, Google, and when you Google websites or floral design companies and they come up, he's not listed because it was poor programming. He had a shopping cart and it wasn't functioning correctly. He used Firefox on his PC and it worked great. That's how he made the website. But then someone who had a Mac who was using Safari, the shopping cart wasn't working properly because of the poor programming. And there were glitches all over the place. Menus overlapping photos, text overlapping, text. The website wasn't consistent. It was just a big mess. And the information architecture or the menu structure of the website was very confusing. It took the customer 10 different steps to even get to the point in the checkout process to enter their credit card information. And that's 10 steps too many. So we came in, we reworked his menu navigation. We made it so it made sense to users. It was quick and easy to check out. And now he's extremely happy. So it sounded like a good idea for him to make a website on his own. But as he found out, it was costly, a lot of time, and it was more money to do it the right way. So a lot of people who are attending today do have a company website. Either they did make it on their own, they had a friend make it for them. I don't know how many times I tell you that clients come to us and they say, oh, I had a friend help me and it's a complete mess. That's always the case. And 100% of the time we never hear a good story about that. So if you're one of those who's thinking, oh, my friend can do it, you never mix business with pleasure. You never have friends help you, for one. And for two, they really just want to make a quick buck. They may be your friend now, but guaranteed at the end of the process, they're not going to be. So check out your website right now. See if you actually need a redesign. Maybe your company's thinking about it and they're not sure. So two great sources that are free that I can tell you about that we use. One is validator.w3.org. Now, what this website does is it checks the code of your website. So it checks the code of all the pages of your website. You have to put in the URL to each page. So for instance, if you go to your home page, copy the URL, put it in validator.w3.org, and it'll tell you all the programming errors on your home page. If you want to know any other page, just click it on your website and copy and paste the URL into Validator's website. And you'll see all the programming errors for each page. You'll see how many and you'll see what they are. So to some people, that may make sense to you to see that. If anything, as a business owner, if you don't know about programming or any of that, you're not expected to. It'll tell you how many errors are on each page. You don't want to see any errors. You want to see the word passed in green. That means that your website's error-free. Well, the page, the URL that you put in is error-free. You got to check each page. But it's error-free. It's going to work and function correctly in all of the search engines, and you're being found through SEO. That's great. Check it out. Use Situated Research as an example of that, and you'll see the word passed on every page. But if you do have errors and you have someone who can assist you, you can just tell them about this website. They can see the errors and they can fix it for you. So if you do have a website and errors come up and you don't have anyone to help you out, you can contact us. We can help you as well. It just depends on how big your website is. Or you can tell your web developer or whoever made your website and say, hey, I paid you X amount of dollars and there's all these errors. I want my website to be error free. I paid you good money. They need to go back and fix those errors for free for you. Also, there's marketing.grader.com, and this is brought to you by HubSpot, which is a company that helps to give you free information on your website and your marketing. So it grades your website out of a score of 100. It also gives you your ranking on the search engines, tells you about keywords to use and not to use, advice on meta tags, and a lot of other good, useful information. So some questions to think about at this point. How many of you have gone through this process and are ready to give up? So I like this little guy throwing his fist through a screen because he's just fed up. And we've had so many clients who have gotten friends to help them or hired a company and they're just not happy with what they're getting. How many of you have hired a website company, paid a lot of good money, and didn't get the results that you wanted? Well, this webinar here today is to help you to not make any more mistakes when it comes to your company's website. So the rest of the webinar is giving you tips and guidelines on how to choose a good person to help you with your website. Now, as most of us know, websites don't come cheaply. They can be anywhere from a few $1,000s to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how big your website's going to be and the functionality that you need. So they can start at $6,000 and go up, depending on the current market range, depending on the company that you go with, all of that good stuff. So you have to really look before you make this investment about the companies that you're choosing. And the way to make a good informed decision is you have to look at what are they offering you? Are they looking out for themselves, just wanting to make you a website, put it up quickly, collect a big check, and they're done? Or do they want to make sure that you're successful? So tip number 1 is how to tell if a company has your best interests at heart or if they want to make a buck. First of all, they offer you free stuff. Quotes should be free. I don't know how many times I have clients come to us and they say, I wanted to get quotes from companies to figure out which company would be the best to go with, and they're trying to charge me. And they're saying, I can't get a quote just by filling out a form on their website. I need a consultation and I need to tell them my story. And that might take an hour or two, and they want to charge me for that time. Well, here at Situate Research, we don't do that. We give you free quotes, free consultation, free advice as well. We want you to make a good informed decision. And there aren't too many web design companies out there that do that. So that's something that you need to look at. Get free stuff. Quotes should be free. Maintenance programs. Yes, a lot of web design companies do have maintenance programs for after they make your website to do updates, but they don't talk to you about them because after the website's completed, they can only charge you so many dollars for maintenance, and it's usually 60 to 75. And so they don't talk about it because that doesn't make them money. Getting the big accounts in, making the websites, collecting the big checks, that gets them money. So if they're not really emphasizing their maintenance program afterwards, you know what they're in it for. Also, free guidance afterwards. Sometimes a company needs help uploading their new website. Sometimes they need us to do it. Sometimes they're not sure about some of the functionality on their site. They need guidance or they're not sure how something works. There should be free guidance afterwards. And companies are charging for every little thing. Here at Situate Research, we do have a maintenance program and we explain it fully to our clients. And after their website's completed, if in 6 months from now or a year from now, I don't care. If they come to us and they say, oh, I want this paragraph changed out, we'll just do it for them. We don't charge them for it unless it's something major. So that's something to consider too. Are they nickel and diming you? Tip number 2 is what to look for. So get that free consultation. And during that free consultation, make sure the company's listening to you. Make sure they're able to convey your ideas back to you. And you can simply say, can you repeat what I just said? Can you repeat what our vision is for our website? If they can't do it and they're not taking good notes, they're not listening to you and they really don't care. And also make sure that there's a contract in place. But make sure that the contract, you don't have to give it to your lawyer to understand, because it should be pretty straightforward. And it should be in there to watch their backs as well as yours. Make sure that there's deadlines in place, not only for them, but for you as well. There's going to be information that they're going to need from you, either photos that you want to use or content. So make sure those deadlines are in the contract. Make sure you look at the company's past work. And usually they put samples on their website, or they put the company's names that they've worked with before. Make sure that they can do templated websites as well as custom web design. Look at their testimonials and ask to get phone numbers, ask to get references. Talk to past customers, see what their experience was like. So once you've done all this and you finally have chosen someone to help you with your website, you need to start building the site. And so there are certain steps that a web design company should take you through. And here at Situate Research, usability isn't the only thing that makes us unique. Not having Dr. Sherrod on our team doing all of the usability research and testing on all the websites that we have a hand in doesn't only make us unique, it's our niche. But we also take our clients through every step of the process when it comes to designing the new website. We want to make sure that the customer understands every step. They know exactly what we're doing, what step we're at, and then we have our clients sign off on every step. So some clients say, wow, that's a lot. Maybe I don't want to be that heavily involved. That sounds like a lot of time to me. It really isn't. What we do is at the beginning of the project, we come up with a timeline for the client. And we say, okay, this week we're going to have the navigation done. So at the end of the week, they get the finalized navigation. They get to look it over. There's an explanation of the navigation, and then they have to sign off on it before we go to the next step. And we have a very consistent process that we use. So if everybody sticks to deadline, we always make by our final deadline. And the customer is always happy because they understand everything that's happening every step of the way. A lot of web design companies take your project on, take your initial check, and say, okay, well, we'll have your website done in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And you don't even know what's happening. And at the end, you get a finished website that has all these problems, and you're the one having to go through it. And you don't understand each step, and you don't understand why things don't work because they didn't take you through it every step of the way. So we make sure that our customers understand. So when you start building your site, a company should take you through these steps here, and we're going to go through each one. The first one is setup. So in order to have a website, you have to have a domain name. So ours is situatedresearch.com. You have to pay for that name yearly or monthly, depending on your hosting plan. And it has to be a unique name that's not too long because people have to remember it and type it in. It can have a .com ending, a .net, .org, whatever you want. Then you have to look at hosting. Who is going to host your website? That's where all of your website files are held. And so when people type in the URL to your website, it's going to be pulling from that hosting company. So some good ones that we've worked with and actually we're partnered with is GoDaddy.com. We love GoDaddy. Our websites have never gone down. And if you do hosting with us, you have the added benefit because we're partnered with someone. We can pass on our partner discounts to our clients, which is great. Also, if anything should ever happen to your website, you don't have to contact the hosting company. You contact us and we call customer service and we get your website back up and running. A lot of clients who don't do hosting with us when their website goes down, they're calling the hosting company and dealing with technical service, and they don't understand anything that the people are saying. So the added benefit is that we do that for you, and we get it back up within 48 hours, which is really neat. And the other thing to look at too when you're looking at hosting your website is secure socket layer, SSL, for security. Because what that's going to do is if you have a shopping cart, you want to make sure that people are entering their credit card information. You want to make sure it's secure so no hackers get in. So you have to have an SSL certificate to make your website solid. Now, the next step is the planning process. And this is an actual drawing that we got from a customer. And we get this all the time from customers. And it's just our brainstorming planning process with them. Basically, during the planning process, or the discovery period is what we call it here at Situate Research, it's a 1-week period where we go through the timeline with the client, any deadlines, number of pages for the site, any forms, anything that's going to be going in the website, databases, whatever is going to be needed. We want to make sure that we understand fully the scope of the project. So the secure socket layer certificate is very important if you're transferring confidential or private documents through the internet. If there's an unsecured data anywhere, it makes users insecure about your company, not just your website. So your website, if you have a secure socket layer certificate, so let's say you have a website right now and you have a shopping cart, or you have a website where people enter in confidential information. The page that they enter that information on, at the top of the page should be HTTPS : //. If there's no S, that page is not secure. And a lot of people know this now, especially with a lot of data fraud, a lot of credit card fraud. They know now what websites to use and what not to. So if they don't see that, they know that the page that they're entering their data on is not secure, so they're not going to use it. So check out your website and see how it is. If it doesn't have the S, then you don't have the SSL certificate, and that page is not secure, and you're probably losing business from it. Get on your webmaster right away and get that certificate. You get it through your hosting company. If you don't have it, hackers can spy on you. They can get the information. So you have to go to your hosting company and get that. So next is content writing. Now, we have content writers on staff here at Situated Research that can assist with this process. They work alongside our marketing team and your marketing team, because we want to make sure the branding is consistent throughout. But we also want to make sure that search engine optimization is one of our top focuses as well. So we can have clients write their own content to save money. However, then we have to go through it and make sure that it's SEO. So it's got good keywords, it's got good page descriptions, so that search engines can search through the content and find your website, because that's how they categorize your website and find you. So clients should always write their own content, but then have a content writer and an SEO expert go through it for them. Make sure that content that you write and present to the web design firm is interesting, grabs people's attention, it sells, and it's relevant content. A lot of time clients will send us content and they're just repeating themselves in the content throughout the website. And so then we figure out very quickly that they have too many pages on their site, that they're trying to look bigger than they are. And customers and users on the internet can figure that out very quickly. They can look at a website and say, okay, this content's the same. What are they trying to pull off here? So in your relevant content, make sure that you tell your story. Make sure you look over it a couple times. Make sure if it's a service that you explain your service and what you want to know. What would you want to know as a user? And make sure that there are testimonials on your website. So tip number 3 is that you also want to make sure that the site will be user-friendly. So I love this cartoon image that I found on the internet. And it's this lady getting punched out by her computer screen. And she says, I thought you were supposed to be user friendly. What happened? How many times have you gone on the internet, maybe not your company's website, but you've gone on the internet and done a Google search, gone to a website, and you leave right away because it's too crazy. There's too much stuff going on the homepage. You can't figure out where to look for information. Forms aren't easy to fill out. Content isn't relevant. Every link on the site isn't working. There's a lot of problems. So websites have to be user friendly. So when we talk about user friendliness or usability, we're talking about three things. And the first thing is having an effective website. Having an effective website means that it allows customers or users to achieve their goals because they're coming to your website for a reason. They have a purpose. Having an effective website means having a high conversion rate of users who come to the site, the traffic that comes to actual clients, paying clients. An effective website also has to meet your business objectives. So you have to have objectives and goals for your website. And having an effective website means that it delivers a positive brand image because you want to gain trust through your website with potential clients. The second thing that usability does is it gives you an efficient website. So an efficient website is one that provides answers very quickly to users who come to the site. They don't have to search around. It follows a logical sequence. So those 10 steps to get to the shopping cart to finally enter your credit card information is way too many. It's not a logical process. It's not a quick process. So you lose clients. An efficient website means that you don't waste resources. So those 10 steps to get to the credit card processing are not needed. There are some steps in there where it's like, hey, why am I even filling this out? Why do I have to go through this to order a product? An efficient website, lastly, requires less content management time as well. If you have an efficient website, if you have a user-friendly website, then the content management time should be cut in half. And also by having a user-friendly website and incorporating usability, the third item is having a satisfied user. And a satisfied user is someone who achieves their goals while using your website. They either came to the website to just find information or they came to purchase an item. Did they achieve their goal? A satisfied user is also one that enjoys their experience. Because if they do, guess what? They're going to tell others and they're going to come back again and again and again. I can't tell you how many times I'm on my Facebook page and I have people who say, oh, I tried to use this website and it stunk. Don't use it. Use this other one. It worked a lot better. It happens all the time. And especially the more that people use social media, it's very easy for us to tell one another what works and what doesn't. So you don't want your website to be the one where people are like, hey, don't use that one. You want to be the one where people have a good experience and they tell everyone about it. So after making sure that your website's user-friendly, you have to look at the layout of each page of the site because that's very important as well. Where are certain content going to be placed on each page? Where are photos going to be placed? Content, forms, etc., because the positioning of everything is very, very important. In web design, we call this a wireframe. So a company who you're going to be hiring, or if you're going to hire a friend, even though I say don't do it, you want to make sure that they provide you with wireframes. And wireframes are just basically a basic layout visually that you can see where items are going to be placed on each page and the reasoning behind it. And it can be done on scratch paper. It can look like this, a little bit more professional. It doesn't matter, but you need to have a wireframe for each page so that you can see the layout. This is a great example of one of our clients that we did back in 2008 or 2009, sorry, where we did a wireframe. And they can see where their menu navigation is going, where their company logo is going to go, where video is going to go, photos, et cetera, with an explanation. And then you can have a discussion with the company and say, oh, I think this would look better here, and whatever. But here at Situate Research, when we do our wireframes, we actually bring in users to test the wireframes. So you get that usability research and you know exactly what's going to work for your clientele, which is kind of cool. And we are the only ones who do that. So that's kind of neat. And then you get to actually visually see what each page is going to look like as well. The company should also provide you with what we call in the industry a sitemap. And a sitemap you'll see at the bottom of websites, they should have the word sitemap and you click on it and you can see the hierarchy of the web pages. The reason why you want that on your website is one, search engines look for it in order to categorize each page of your website and to get you on the search engines so that when someone does do a Google search on certain keywords that are embedded within your website comes up. The second thing is that it helps users who might get lost on your website. So instead of having a help button or a search button on your website, they can just click on the sitemap and all the pages are listed hierarchically and they get to pick and choose what pages they want to go on. The third thing is that by having a sitemap at the beginning of the design process, you get to see your menu navigation. And when you see your menu navigation, you want to make sure that it's not too deep because then things will get buried. And if it's too deep, that means you have too many submenus. And it shouldn't be too wide because then you're giving your users too many options. If you don't get a sitemap and you don't get wireframes, or you've built your website in the past with a web design company who didn't do this process with you, it shows their inexperience and you don't want to work with them. And if you worked with a company in the past that didn't give you this information, then you know definitely that your website wasn't made correctly. And it's definitely not user-friendly. The next thing that you need to look at is design or graphic design. And a lot of people think that their website has to be flashy. There needs to be animation. There needs to be little avatars talking to you. You need videos. You need something to grab people's attention. And that's not true. Your website isn't a circus act. It is a representation of your business. It's a representation of you. So make sure it conveys that. So companies, web design companies, need to offer templates as options as well as custom design. So we offer both. But with templates, it's a lot cheaper for the client, but someone else could have a website that looks like yours. So some people say, well, I really don't care. Cost is more important to me. But you really need to look at it from a business perspective because, like in the florist example, he used a template. So there were other florists in the area who had websites that looked like his. And users see that. When they do Google searches, they just don't look at one website, they look at several. And so if they see that you used a template or it looks like someone else's, they know that you didn't put forth the effort. And especially in a design industry like floral design, they want to see your website's custom. They want to see that you put through the effort. So sometimes that can gauge users' thinking and if they're going to use your website or not. So custom design you should really go with. It's a little bit more costly because you're actually bringing in a graphic designer to work with the client, to work with you, but it gives you a unique feel. It's creative and you sell more. In usability research, we see this time and time again with custom websites. But make sure that, if you don't have the budget right now and you can't do that, that the template works and it works for your industry and it's going to help you out. With our clients, if they have a certain budget, but they want a custom design, we'll work with them. So that's another added benefit as well. Next, you have to look at images and photos that you're going to put on the website. Our usability research and a lot of others' research has shown that users do not like stock imagery. Meaning you go onto iPhoto.com or stockimage.com or whatever, and you purchase stock images because people can tell if it's clip art or stock imagery. So you want to use professional photos, actual photos, and you want to make sure that they're cleaned up in Photoshop, they're crisp, they're clear, they're professional looking. That also, another added thing that I need to say here is that it also adds trust within your company. A lot of companies will purchase stock imagery and users can see that and they're thinking to themselves, why aren't they putting up photos of their actual work? And they start to question, and then they don't use your product or your services. So something to think about. The next step is revisions. So after you've gone through all of this, the website's programmed, there's revisions. And so there should only be minor revisions at this point. There should always be a halfway point where the company says, hey, look at the website and give us some feedback. And then once they present you with the website, there should just be minor changes, like changing out a word or a photo or the placement of something very quickly. The problem that we see time and time again is that clients will hire web design firms and they say, oh, it'll take 3 to 4 weeks to be completed. And you don't know what's happening. You don't know what step they are in the process. They give you a website at the very end and you're like giving them a whole list of things that need to be finished that weren't done correctly. To alleviate that, something else that makes us unique here at Situate Research is that we have the client sign off every step of the way. So you know exactly what step we're on, you know what the step involves, and you sign off. And we do not move on to the next step till you do that. The other cool thing that we do is we put up a temporary URL on the internet just for you so you can see the progress of the project as it's being programmed. And that's really neat too, because you get to see it live. You get to see, okay, Situate Researchers programmers did the homepage and the About Us page today. Let's check it out. And you can see it any time of day. We have nothing to hide. We want you to see. Because if you see something, you say, oh, I might have signed off on that, but I don't really like the way it's turning out. Can we talk about it? We can catch it right then and there. The other cool thing about us as well is once we're completed with the website, we bring in users to test the website. And then based off of that, we make final revisions and then we present it to the client. Because we don't want to present you with a website and we don't want a whole list of things that need to be done. We don't want you to have to go through the website and give us a whole list of stuff that needs to be done still. We want it to be completed. We want it to be to your satisfaction, and it should be when we present it to you. So after all that, you should be ready to launch. After all the revisions, the website's cleaned up, looks professional, and it's a great representation of your company and you're happy. It should happen the same day as long as your bill's paid. I always put that in there. So as long as your balance is paid, your website should go up live. So how much time does this whole process should it take? A basic website should take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. A more complex website where you have databases, shopping carts, a lot of pages should take anywhere from 1 to 2 months. Just make sure that all your deadlines are in your agreement. Now, my next tip for you is don't be the project manager. You're hiring someone else and they should be doing that for you. You shouldn't be having to email the programmer, the graphic designer, the IT people. You shouldn't have to do that. You're paying good money. So no daily emails, no daily phone calls. You should have a check-in every Friday at the end of each week of your project, and you should be on point with your contract. And you should have one point of contact at the company. You shouldn't have to be dealing with all these different people. Now, a lot of customers nowadays are wanting to update their website themselves. And we have a great blog post on our blog about which CMS system to choose. we say use Joomla, Drupal, or WordPress. Joomla, as you'll find out in the article, is for people who have some programming knowledge that can manage their website. Drupal is for people who have a really good programming background because it's really, really hard to use. And WordPress, anyone can use. So we have a lot of clients now who are saying, can I have a WordPress site? And so a lot of people are confused and they think, oh, you just go on WordPress and it's a blog. No, WordPress has a blogging site, but they also have a website site. So you can choose templates off of there and build the website that way. But the cool thing also that we do here at Situate Research is we'll use a WordPress template, but the graphic designs our graphic designer makes. And so what we do is we manipulate the code of WordPress and we make the website custom. It's being built on a WordPress platform so that you can edit it yourself. You can add pages, you can delete pages. So just some different options for our clients. So check out that blog post. And if you need the link directly, you can't find it, just go to our blog on our website and in the search box, just type in WordPress and it'll come up. Also, maintenance programs are important. Let's say you just don't want to touch it, you don't want to be bothered, but you might have some updates that need to be made later on. We charge $75 an hour or $199 a month. The $199 a month is up to 4 revisions. So we ask that clients who have restaurants or where their data changes a lot, that they do the $199 a month and sign up for that. But again, as I said at the beginning, if it's minor changes, we'll just do it for you. And we'll do it the same day. So something to think about as well. So Situate Research does offer web design. We do offer free consultations, and those can be face-to-face or in your office, home, or using Skype. And we learn about your story, about your company, you, and what you want your site to offer. A great thing, and this was the first time that I've ever heard this from one of our clients. We just got a contract with DuPage Children's Museum, which is located in Naperville. And they said to us, the reason why we chose you over the other 12 firms that we got quotes from is because you listened to us. You listened to what our vision was. You were able to convey it back to us. You took really, really good notes and you were there for us. You didn't upcharge us on anything. You just said, okay, this is what you need. And you think that you need these items, but you really don't. We can get around it this way. And we offered them options as well. We really were there for them. And that's why they chose us. So we really do learn about your story. We do give free quotes. There are contracts that you understand, and we do guarantee our time. So some things that make us unique is our experience level. If you go to our team page, not everybody's listed on there, but the people who are listed on there have exceptional backgrounds, and we only hire the best of the best because we're perfectionists here. We want to make sure your website's error-free, it's functional, and it makes you money. Our educational backgrounds are unique as well. We have a PhD on staff that specializes in usability. We have my degree in behavioral psychology and everyone else's degrees as well. Our level of understanding of SEO and usability testing is superb to us. That's our niche. Our turnaround time is exceptional. If we say it's going to be done by a certain date, it will be. And the quality of the work that we do surpasses everyone else. Our process makes us unique. You have one point of contact after the sale, and that's me, the VP of the company. Who gets their project manager? The VP of the company. So it's very exceptional. We give you better service this way and better experience because you're dealing with the VP of the company. We care about you and we care about your project. We want to have a hand in everything when it comes to our business. And we want to build a relationship with you. We just don't want to make your website, collect a big check and say, okay, bye. We want to make sure that we built you something that's going to work for your company, that you're going to be happy with. So if you don't go with situated research, you're going to be probably dealing with a project manager, designers, graphic designers, developers, programmers, accounting, etc. And you're going to be project managing your project. Here we do it for you. And again, another huge benefit is that we have you sign off on every step of the way. We also have Dr. Sherritt and his team who does rounds and rounds of usability testing throughout the design process, which again, at the end, alleviates all types of revisions. And we work with the developers, which alleviates tons of revisions and going back and forth with the client. You get a great end result. Now, when it comes to our usability testing portion, our end users, we always keep in mind. Who's going to be using your website? So these 6 bullet points here are all things that we look at when it comes to your website. We look at marketing, branding, psychology, human computer interaction, cultural differences, motivation. All these different things are encompassed within our testing. We specialize in user-centered design, which really focuses on the user and your website. And we conduct tests before the site is released, over 60 different tests, to make sure that your website's user-friendly. Because we don't want your website to be the one that people go to and they say, I'm going to go use someone else's. So we have 3 basic packages, and those pricing and all of that is on our website. And so you can go there and you can see what's included and what's not. But we offer a basic package. We also offer a budget package as well, for people who are really on a strict budget. Basically, we can work with anyone. We've worked with larger firms. We've worked with smaller firms, mom and pop shops. We've worked with a realm of businesses. So you can check that out on our website. Something cool too that we offer that makes us unique is we have a free usability evaluation. So if you currently have a website and you're on the fence and you have no idea if you need to update it or not, get the free usability report. We go through 20 different areas of usability, from your menu navigation to the look and feel to the way it functions, etc., etc. And it's free. So you go to our website, you go fill out the form, and in a day or 2 is the turnaround. You get free analysis of your current site. We have a salesperson call you, they go through it with you, they answer all of your questions, and they don't pressure sale you at the end because the report speaks for itself. And the report is really nice because it says, okay, we're looking for this. And then you can look at your website and say, oh, I have that. Great job. Or, oops, we missed the ball on this one. We need to kind of look at this. And so 80% of the time, we get a referral out of it or we get a project out of it. So it always results in something, and we don't have to pressure sale anyone because they can say, oh, my website has this, or oh, it doesn't, and this is why I need it, or this is why I don't need it. We're not going to say, oh, because you don't have this, you need it. We're going to look at your website and your company as a whole, and if you want a quote, we can say, oh, well, you really don't need this, or yeah, you do, and this is why. We also offer a social media marketing campaign package where we hook your website into Google Analytics so that we can track every page and the traffic that's coming and to see what campaigns are working and what aren't. And in order to do that, you do need to have someone who knows how to code, because there's a line of code that needs to go on every page of your website so that Google Analytics can track it. It starts at $1,200, just depending on the project scope, and goes up from there. We post to all the social media outlets for 2 months for you. And we also give you a full professional report back to you weekly for 2 months. After that, if you want us to continue doing this for you, it's $4.99 a month. And we can continue to do the analytics for you and the posting. So why would you want to do this? You want to optimize your website usage as much as possible. You want to get as much traffic to your website as possible, because that's going to convert, if you have a good user-friendly website, into clients. So I always give a discount offer during this webinar, and our discount offer is if you contact us by this Friday, We'll give you $500 off a website package or the social media marketing campaign, whichever you need. So you have to contact us by Friday at midnight, and it's only for people who attended live today. So if you know people who couldn't attend today and they contact me, I have that list of people who have stuck through it throughout the whole webinar. And those are the only people who will get this discount. So take advantage. So our goals for you today were to have you learn how to make a website pay for itself. We want to help you to increase your sales, increase your company branding, and build customer trust. So what I'm going to do now is leave you with our contact information, and then we'll end the webinar and do Q&A. So we are Situate Research. We're located just on the outskirts of Chicago in Naperville, Illinois. If you have any questions you think of, you want us to look at your website, send me an email at info@situateresearch.com. You can also call us at the phone number provided, or you can visit us on the web. Get that free usability evaluation if you currently have a website on our website. And also take advantage of that webinar special. Again, it ends August 24th, Friday at midnight. So I want to thank you all for attending today and have a great week.